Hello everyone, welcome to today's edition on Editorial. My name is Sandra Asante and it's a broadcast from Canada. I welcome you to it. Yes, today we'll be looking at the aid neutrality under fire in Ethiopia's widening and worsening conflict. So stay tuned, I'll be back after the break. More than 58 groups, including UN agencies, NGOs, and local organizations, are currently responding to the crisis. They have collectively requested just over $850 million to meet humanitarian needs through the year. In private, several of the aid agencies contracted by the new humanitarian denied the government's allegations, but none were willing to comment publicly, citing a tense political and security situations in the country. Observers say the government claims, alongside rumors, online misinformation, and critical local media coverage, heighten the risk for the relief operations. Once you associate the NGOs with the enemy, it removes any moral obstacle to attacking them, said Abi Stoddard of the consultancy group Humanitarian Outcomes, which provides research and policy advice for the aid agencies. Nearly a month ago, 3 Tigray-based humanitarian workers from Medicines Sans Frontières were murdered, among 12 aid workers killed since the conflict began in November 2020. Stoddard told the new humanitarian that while governments often grumble about aid agencies in civil war, this was the most public and direct allegation she should record in recent years and could fuel further attack against aid workers. It would be bad enough if a random person tweeted it, but this is coming from the government, said Stoddard, who has authored a book on aid worker security in war zones. A senior aid official familiar with the relief operation in Ethiopia added that the announcement will lead to an atmosphere of increased hostilities against humanitarian groups and will be used to justify a continued blockade to aid to Tigray. Other aid workers say understanding the allegations of aid agencies' misbehavior is difficult when the government has not provided detail of its claims. Stefan de Kersmaker, the spokesperson for the EU, which funds aid agencies in Tigray, did not comment on the specific allegations, but said agencies undergo a due diligence assessment prior to the disbursement of funds and face regular checks during project implementation. A spokesperson for USAID, another major donor to the relief operation, said the agency takes seriously any allegations of the assistance being diverted, but he added by saying these types of statements can increase the danger of humanitarians who are risking their lives to help others. Anything that further hinders humanitarians from doing their job, saving lives, is deeply concerned and will only exacerbate an already dire situation. Now let's look at the access constraints of this. Hussein's comments come with a deterioration in the 8-month conflict, which pits Ethiopia's central government against the Tigray Defense Forces, the TDF, an armed offshoot of the regional ruling party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front. The TDF has expanded its operations in recent days, including into neighboring regions, and the government has begun drafting militias from across Ethiopia's ethnically based regions to help combat the group. Mohamed Kia Omer, a political analyst following the conflict, said the militias are likely to struggle against the TPLF, but that the civilians fallout will be very high. I think it will be a catastrophic in terms of human suffering, he told the new humanitarian. Military operations to kill the TPLF's rebellion have been accompanied by numerous civilian massacres, looting, and other human rights abuses amidst the worsening food situation. He stated that after heavy fighting with forces, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed withdrew the National Army on the 28th of June and the TPLF took over. The central government declared a humanitarian ceasefire by largely cut off Tigray from the electricity, telecommunications, banking and trade while restricting the road access of humanitarian organizations. Only a few dozen international aid trucks have reached the region since the change in control. The second of the 2 UN passengers flight was due in Tigray today after the success arrival in Tigray of about 50 trucks across the front line earlier this month. A second aid convoy was attacked by the unknown forces on the 18th of July and did not reach Tigray. The UN's World Food Programme, or WFP, says about 100 trucks a day are now needed to supply food, fuel, and other relief supplies across the front line up for the 5 million people. Addis Ababa denies charges it is hampering relief deliveries as form of collective punishment, countering that the TPLF is pursuing military objectives rather than attending to humanitarian needs. In a new claim today, the government also alleged that the TPLF will prevent households from getting assistance unless they send their children to fight. That's a fallacy there, but this is where I draw the curtains on editorials. My name is Sandra Asante. Thank you so much for watching today. I'll see you some other time.